So, question two, let me make myself come down here. It's like the Brady Bunch here. So, the Civic Arts Guild is having a show. There's a room for 33 booths. The guild has 85 painters, sculptures has 41 sculptures, and we have 44 weavers. It says use the Hamilton method to apportion the booths to each group, to each of the three groups. So, our goal is how many painters are going to get to have a booth, how many sculptors are going to have a booth, and how many weavers get a booth. So one thing we first have to do is figure out, well, how many people are there present altogether? So we need to know the total population. So if we add the 85 and the 41 and the 44, that'll give us our total population. So let me do that. I think we can do that quickly. Probably could add that in your head, couldn't you? So we have 170 people. And what we want to do is figure out what our standard divisor is. So we're doing this among 33 booths. So our standard divisor, if you will, is going to be this 170 divided among 13 or 33 booths. So if we divide that number by 33, that tells me that the representation is going to be like, again, we're going to leave that as a decimal. So 5.15, and I'm going to use the calculator as my actual number though. That's going to be for one booth. So every 5.15 people represents one booth if I'm looking at it from a representation point. So now look at the painters. How many painters get to be part of the booths? So since there's 85 painters, what we do then is divide that among the 5.15. And I'm going to use my calculator over here and keep the decimal. So 85 divided by, and I'll go up here and get my little standard divisor, put that in. So I'm getting as most accurate answer as possible. So we're getting 16.5 painters at this point. So when it comes to sculptures, how many of those get assigned? Well, there are 41, but based on our sharing, 5.15 gets divided into that to tell what their portion is. So 41 of those, and we divide that with our standard divisor, which again, I'm going to use my calculator number. And that gives me then this 17.958. So I'm just going to put 17.9 here for the time being. No rounding at this point. Weavers, we have again 44 weavers, but their apportionment is going to be this 5.15. Their standard, that standard divisor will give us what we call the quotas, if you will, their representation. So 44 divided by then this number here gives us then this 8.5. So this is the apportionment, or what they call the quotas. The quotas are what each group now gets. But now what we do is use the whole numbers, and we pick up on that. We have 16 and 17 and 8. So did I do the... So it looks like sculptors, I typed in the wrong number there. Looks like I should have had 7.95. So sorry about that. Because we sculptors and weavers should have been closer together, so something was fishy there. So let me rewrite that down here as then we had 16, 7, and 8. So if we add those numbers together, that looks like 16 plus 15, would be 31. What I need to do is figure out the leftovers. How many seats are left? So there was 33 being assigned. 31 have been assigned. That leaves me two. So how do we share the two? Well, it looks like the biggest decimal is the sculptors. So it looks like they get moved up to 8. And the next biggest decimal, we have both of these are 5s. So I'm seeing, let's see, where's the 16? So 16.5, and then this was 8.54. So that's a little bit bigger decimal. So this is like 50, and this is 54. So this tells me that they would get the next seat. So that would move up to then the 9. So what we're seeing is the painters would still get 16. The sculptors would get 8. And then the weavers would get 9. And that's supposed to add up to the 33 booths, if you will. So 16 plus then the 8 plus the 9 should add up to the 33 booths. So that's how we kind of divvy that out based on the remainders. Highest remainder down to the lowest remainders until all the seats are gone. Since there's only 2 leftovers, we only could assign one more to the sculptors since they had the biggest decimal. But between the painters and the weavers, the 54 was a shade bigger than the 50. So they got that extra seat. So that's the Hamilton's method.